Chapter 10. My brother-in-law, Kez, was foreman of a reserve maintenance detail. The only crew permitted to work or to leave the camps limited the night of the riots. At the back gate, they were issued 4 pickaxe handles to protect themselves in case of the Innu hunters found them cooperating at a time like this. They drove out there, checked the chlorine shed, toured the perimeter, then trooped into a little shack that had been set up with 4 cots. It was like a fireman's watch. Each crew spent 24 hours on standby, making periodic checks, cleaning the debris, doing whatever was necessary to keep the water moving into camp. The shack had 1 window, but they turned off the lights and stretched out on the cots. You could barely see it outline. The night was so dark. Kez lay there trying to see the line between the dark inside and the dark outside the shack. And he thought he saw something pass across the window, but called it his imagination and shut his eyes. A moment later, the door crashed open. A flashlight was blinding him. He felt a sharp jolt of gun sight against his cheek. Someone yelled, "All right, you Japs, up against the wall." He jumped out of bed and saw 4 MPs with Tommy's gun, a sergeant, and 3 privates. While Chavez, backed to the wall, joined his crew, the gun barrel stayed right against his cheek. The MPs kept calling, "Come on, chaps, move it, move it." He has finally found his voice. "Hey, what's the matter with you guys?" The sergeant in charge was wild-eyed, scanning the room as he fanned the air with his Tommy's gun. Sure, he had uncovered a nest of saboteurs. He was about the same age as Kez, early 20s. "What the hell are you doing out here?" he yelled. "We're the reserve crew. Nobody's supposed to leave the camp. You know that." "Somebody's got to be out here all the time. Regulations." The sergeant spotted the axe handles on the floor by each cot and kicked one with his boot. "What the hell are these from?" "The rioters. If they found us here, they'd throw us all in the reserve." The sergeant squinted suspiciously. Chiaz said, "Go on back to the gate and check it out." The sergeant kicked all the axe handles into a pile and scooped them up. "I'm taking these with me. Don't nobody move till I get back." He left. The reserve crew didn't blink until he returned with the clearance half an hour later. They stood there watching the 3 jittery privates who had backed up against the opposite wall, as fearful as those 4 Japs they had to guard as Kez. And the men were of the unsteady weapons they knew could go off at any moment.